MissTransformers96 here with another review. This time we have the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Marvel Legends series, with the Build-A-Figure being the Ultimate Green Goblin, and that's what you see in front of you. So here you go. So as you can see, Ultimate Green Goblin, the Build-A-Figure. You know, if you already didn't know, I love Build-A-Figures, love the idea of them, and even if I'm not too into the character, I'll totally get the Build-A-Figure. And yeah, but this actually was a good character, so I did not mind one bit building this Build-A-Figure. So yeah, so you know, when I first saw the picture for this guy, you know, I thought he kind of looked cool. You know, I wasn't too into him so much, but I was like, he totally looks so familiar, and it took me about, you know, 2 seconds before I realized it's just a resculpt. And yeah, of course it is a resculpt of this Hulk. This is what I'm going to be talking about a lot with this review, because it's incredibly similar. As you can see, it's this Hulk right here, the same exact thing, different head, different hands, different feet, resculpted shoulders, and different paint, and a few more accessories. So it isn't just a straight up repaint. It's not a repaint with a slight you know, tweak. It's a repaint with a few different items and different you know, pieces, which is kind of nice. It makes it a little bit better. Speaking of this Hulk, when I got it, I didn't love it. Everybody was giving it rave reviews, and I just wasn't feeling it. I really thought that it was weak in a lot of places, and I never really loved that sculpt. So I'm sure a lot of you that love that sculpt are going to be pretty happy. I like this better with the Green Goblin than I did with Hulk. I have to say, I think it fits him a little bit more. It's more of a comic body, in my opinion. Other than the pants looking fairly realistic, it definitely gives that comic type of look. And this is how I like to display him. These little pieces, they look nice and everything, but I find that just having him with the bare arms and then the fire on his back just looks better, in my opinion. But these still come in handy. I've used them a couple times during pictures and stuff. They're quite nice. Definitely really cool little fire accessories. But let's just go over these little things really fast. Really cool. Love the way they're painted. A translucent yellow which kind of goes out to orange on the edges. Very neat. And they're just simple clips, and they clip on fairly well while you're posing them. One or two, you know, one might fall off. It's not a huge deal, but it's definitely something that will probably happen. This little fire piece on the back is really great. Really love the way it looks. It's just completely like engulfed in flames, and it's just got these two little things that just hold on to his back. I wish that this was a little bit more secure, but it's not that bad. So, you know, it's definitely nothing crazy, you know, bad. Him just without any fire, he doesn't look that great. I mean, he looks okay, but just adding this little thing, here we go, adding this little thing right there just totally makes a huge difference, believe it or not. So overall, that's very cool. Going over the head, a new piece. Alright. As you can see, it looks alright. I've never, you know, really loved this type of look where he's like a demon. I think it's, you know, a little unrealistic and a little crazy, but overall it is kind of cool. He's fairly Abomination-like. Really, the horns are the only things that, you know, aren't Abomination-esque, and overall, it's kind of neat. He's got some scales, he's got some bumps. Even the horns have bumps on them. But it is fairly nicely sculpted. They really did a good job with the head sculpting and everything. The arms, I really do like all the little spikes and everything coming out of them. Very Abomination-like. I mean, just really. And then you get the elbows with all the spikes. Very cool. I love the texture on this thing. Really nice. You can see the vein in there. Very cool. Love these hands. Very nice. I love how they're opened and how, you know, the fingers are all, you know, kind of different positioned, and then they are sharp. The fingernails being green, I don't know, is that supposed to be like that? I'm not sure. You know, it doesn't look bad though, so I really don't mind, but, you know, they might have, should have been a different color, but definitely nothing to complain about. Overall, very cool. He does have blue pants, which look okay. They're very light blue, which I'm glad. They didn't go with anything bright, and they didn't go with anything super dark. So overall, I think that it's done pretty well. The legs are kind of like smooth, not much texture, and then these feet are like a huge amount of texture and all these bumps and everything. He's got some nails. Kind of cool. Definitely neat looking. And so overall, he is, you know, a fairly completely new sculpt other than the base of him, which is kind of cool. I definitely like that. The biggest thing that I disliked with the movie Hulk is that these joints, they suck. They're, you know, soft plastic, so they don't move. On my Hulk, they were really hard to move. On this Green Goblin, they're not really hard to move. They don't feel super stable. They're just like super weak kind of feeling. So I don't love that type of stuff. The hip joints are a little bit annoying. You gotta like twist them and then you know, pull up, and it's incredibly stiff. It's so hard to manipulate these joints. Oh, it's so hard to move them. Really don't like that. And then sometimes, look at this. This is just terrible. All the blue paint is, you know, completely coming off. It's just super bad quality control with these stupid thighs. I really wish that they could have fixed that stuff, because it is just terrible and incredibly annoying, and you can definitely see it. I mean, it's not something that's well hidden unless he's like this, but when you want to have like one leg in front of the other, I mean, it's definitely like in your face that it's all ripped up with the paint. So I'm really disappointed about that. I don't think it looks good, and definitely a shame. As far as articulation, he does have a ball jointed head, looks down quite far. It doesn't really look up much at all, and then the head does turn, but it gets that sideways turn. Not bad for this guy, though, considering the demon creepy face. Having a sideways turn doesn't look bad. Ball hinge shoulders, which look pretty nice. Swivel bicep, double hinge elbows, hinge swivel wrist. The hinge moves out like this pretty far. It doesn't move in super far, though. It just kind of straightens out, and then it can move out. So, there you go. Ball jointed upper torso. Another thing, this had just an odd ball jointed upper torso. It feels like it can move more, but it just like can't. So it's mostly like a swivel torso instead of a ball joint, because it really doesn't go up and down or at all. I talked about the thighs, really hate them. You got a thigh swivel, double hinge knees, hinge pivoting ankles, which is quite nice. So overall articulation is pretty good with this guy, and really do like that. So what do I think of this this Build-A-Figure overall? First of all, I really, and I mean really, don't think that this should have been the Build-A-Figure. Of course, you know which one I would have liked to see. Somebody with name rhymes with Rhino. Really would have loved to see Rhino as a Build-A-Figure. Obviously, the movie Rhino is what I'd like to see. Even a comic Rhino, though, I would have think would be better than this one, because he's still going to be in the movie. So I would have loved a movie Rhino, though. That being said, you gotta be realistic here. They reused a lot of parts, and making a movie Rhino would have had to been a completely new sculpt. So there is that to take account of. The rest of the series has been really great. Some fantastic figures coming out of the series, and if that means they had to, you know, cut back and reuse parts for their Build-A-Figure, then I'm okay with it. Would I have liked the entire series to be cut down just a little bit and given us the Rhino? Of course, but that's just me, and I think a lot of other people would have liked to keep the series just the way it is and not have any of the other figures being cut down at all. Overall, it's a great series with a really nice Build-A-Figure. Nothing fantastic, but still a good Build-A-Figure. I would highly recommend building this Build-A-Figure, and he is pretty nice with a few downfalls, but nothing huge. So there you go. So that's my review of the Ultimate Green Goblin BAF from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Marvel Legends series. Thank you so much for watching. One more thing before I go, I forgot to talk about this. This is the #1 thing that I hated about this Hulk figure. If you look at the Hulk figure, look at these legs. They're going down straight, and then they start to come out, and especially on this side, they're going down straight and then totally just goes out. It's not natural, it's not realistic looking. The legs should be, you know, over more, and then instead it's just way far out. So you have to have him standing where, you know, his legs are going straight, and then they like bow out right at the knee. Looks just terrible. I've always hated that. Over on Green Goblin, it's a lot better. It's still not perfect. This side does go out a little bit, but considering, you know, compared to this, it is so much better. So that is another thing that I really do like a lot more about this Green Goblin over this Hulk. You know, maybe I just got a dud Hulk, but to me, just with these two figures, it seems like they've taken a few of the problems with this guy and kind of fixed it with this one, but still with a lot of problems on its own. So it's still not perfect, but it does fix some of the problems that I absolutely couldn't stand about this Hulk. So there you go. Sorry guys, it seems like I ended this video prematurely because there's a couple things that I forgot to mention. First of all, that Hulk, which I just talked about. And secondly, the size between Spider-Man. I think that he is really cool. I like his bulk. He definitely towers over Spider-Man. And Spider-Man, some people have mixed feelings about it. Some people really like the Spider-Man, some people really don't. I absolutely love this Spider-Man. So I really like the way that he goes with the Ultimate Green Goblin, the way that he is so much smaller, and the way that you can articulate him compared to the other Green Goblin just looks really cool. I think that he looks really nice. Accuracy, I think, is perfect. I think it's great. You can do a lot of fun things and a lot of fun poses, and overall, just really great. So overall, I think the size really works out perfectly.